On today's episode of Sketching Strangers, we have the bookworm. While searching for a subject, I stumbled upon a person reading by the park that was just far enough away to not notice me. He made the perfect model because people are pretty still when reading besides when they flip the page, and I also just love the contrast between the simple t-shirt and pants with the intricate details of the monument. After I finished the sketch, I looked back and the guy had already disappeared. So to the bookworm, if by any chance this algorithm brings you to my video, let me know and I'd love to send you this sketch.
Hey y'all, I'm here with student examples of the first project that we completed. These are sketchbook covers. I gave them this outline of a phone. They wrote their names in a really cool way on this side, but I'm not going to show you that because that's student information. So the prompt is that they need to turn each of these little squares or apps into anything but an app, and it has to connect to them in their own identity. We talk about using your most unique ideas and representing things both literally and maybe figuratively or in a more abstract way. So when they turn these in, they need to answer two questions for me. And one of the questions is, what is a story behind one of your apps that I wouldn't know just by looking at it? I encourage them to represent inside jokes with friends on here. And it's just a great segue to talking about how often art has stories behind it or a deeper meaning, more than what just meets the eye. So these turned out really great.
Join me as I sketch at Sweet Bloom Coffee Roasters in Westminster, Colorado, with my friend Clyde Stedman. So typically when we sketch together, we'll choose a table somewhere in the middle of the restaurant so we can each have a good vantage point. We don't hide what we're doing. We're not shy about it. So most people are pretty much aware of what's going on when we're there. And I often start with the immediate foreground, like my hands and sketchbook. But this time around, I opted to start by sketching Clyde and then work my way around the space from there. And so I started with a little Micron fine liner pen. This is a Pentel Aquash water brush pen filled with a diluted gray ink. And I just added a little value in Clyde's jacket and shirt there. Going back in with the Micron pen now, adding some of the background information. I kind of move around from object to object, making sure that I understand the relationship between the objects and their scale before I kind of start going full bore with the mark making. And especially in a situation like this where there's no pencil lines first, it's important to sit and sort of evaluate those scale and compositional relationships before you put down any marks, just to make sure you kind of have an idea where you're going to be going with the pen. And then I'm working my way across the background, right to left now, behind Clyde, because I started sort of with Clyde, then the table, then me, and then moved around the space. And now I'm all the way on to the left-hand side here. And then I'm going to go add a little bit more additional detail way out on the margins here. And that's pretty much it.
Hi friends, I just got a new sketchbook and here are my thoughts on it. This is the ELO 8x8 sketchbook. I got it off of Amazon for a fairly good deal compared to the Moleskine sketchbooks that I've previously been using. And I was really excited about this one because it's an 8x8 format, so it's square, which gives a lot more room per page than the Moleskine does. The paper is a fairly heavy weight, so I know it'll take most mediums fairly well, so I decided to use alcohol markers to test it out and see how much it would bleed and how the colors blended together, and they blended together really nicely, so that was exciting. Also, the paper is so smooth, it's luxurious, I love it so much. So this is what my page looked like, and this is what it was on the back. Obviously it'll bleed through on the back, but it bled through much less than it did in my Moleskine sketchbook, which was delightful. And here's what my full page looked like. Okay, thanks, bye!
Welcome to a sketchbook tour, but barely counts as a sketchbook. This is like my personal sketchbook that my brother gave me, but it essentially has no rules. At first I was trying to make illustrations on every page to be aesthetic, but then I realized I actually wanted to write. And so I started using really tiny handwriting for every page. Let me show you what I mean by tiny handwriting. This is every single page, but I was really proud that I could write in really straight lines. Oh, here we go, some art related stuff. I was writing down some ideas that I want to do and never did any of them. And here's just me journaling with some tiny words again. I think in some ways I still consider this art because I would flip through and enjoy looking at it. Somewhere along the line I deviated and I started drawing chemical structures because, I was a chem major and I thought I was cool. Myself, I was chloroketone. Here's a sketch of what I thought that my dorm room should look like when I moved in my senior year. And some more tiny writing. This is the only sketch that gave validity to the title of a sketchbook. And just like every girl, my sketchbook/journal turned out to be a sob fest, and then I wrote about things that I was really sad. And I never used this journal ever again. And then I have all these pages that will probably be left blank because I have inability to finish any sort of book ever.
I'm me again. It feels like it's been years.
Welcome to episode 2 of my journaling series. Today I wanted to talk about letting your creativity run wild, and I think a journal is the perfect place to nurture this. I used to think a journal was strictly for writing, but in fact there are absolutely no rules, and you can be as creative as you please. I use mine for writing, sketching, planning, and collecting. I'm actually breaking my own rule by showing you mine, but typically a journal is private. It can be a sacred vessel that contains your most private thoughts, feelings, and experiences for your eyes only. Because of this privacy, I think this is the perfect place to allow yourself to set your creativity free. I find for myself that I've been able to really nurture a different side of my creative brain through journaling because there's not the pressure of showing anyone what I'm making. It doesn't have to be or look quote-unquote perfect, and I think the imperfections are what I like most about it actually. Allowing yourself to make mistakes is a good thing, and if you don't like a page, you can always cover it with a painting or just scrapbook over it. Create something that you think is beautiful or fun to look at, something that makes you feel good, and don't hold back. At the end of the day, you're making something that's just for you. I hope you enjoyed making this page with me, and I will see you guys next time.
So as an artist, I wanted to share something that I do to keep my creative juices flowing. I found this book on TikTok. It's called 212 Sketches. The book is full of 212 different, different incomplete sketches. And as an artist, I feel like this is a good way to, keep our creative juices flowing. Just keeping us motivated. Sketching is like, having a sketchbook is amazing, but sometimes I don't even know what to draw on my sketchbook half the time unless I'm doing something specific. So this is a good way to get you started and just guide your imagination and creativity.
Whoa!
I want that.
Yeah.
I have that.
Sketched on there. I think it came out pretty good. We'll have to clean up a few lines, but other than that, I think I'm ready to go and figure out what watercolors I wish to use on this.
I've been seeing a lot of artists here on TikTok using the Talents Art Creation sketchbooks. I filled one of these sketchbooks from start to finish, so I thought I'd be able to give a good review on this. I had this sketchbook from 2021 to 2022, if you can't tell from the stickers. The thing that a lot of people don't like about this sketchbook is the paper color. It's kind of a warm tone, more on the yellow side. Some people don't like it at all, but honestly, over time you get used to it. The other thing is the thickness of the paper. This is 140 GSM. Most mixed media sketchbooks are 150 GSM. If you don't know what that means, it means the thickness of the paper. For example, watercolor paper is usually 200 to 300 GSM. The thicker the paper, the sturdier it is. I had so much fun with this sketchbook. I feel like the paper color was the reason why I was able to really enjoy it and not feel too precious about my sketchbook. It kind of helped me loosen up a little bit and just have fun with my art supplies. I definitely understand the people that did not like this sketchbook. The paper is not that thick, it's actually not really mixed media even though it claims to be. I did use watercolors and gouache in this sketchbook, but the pages didn't warp that much. Overall, I think these sketchbooks are worth it, but only if you find them locally. They do sell a smaller size that's like a square sketchbook, so if you're really curious about this sketchbook and what it's like, maybe get one of those. I really do hope this brand makes different kinds of paper for their sketchbooks because this is so pretty. I love the color options and everything. I just wish the paper was white. That's really the only complaint I have personally. There are other brands out there that do sell different color sketchbooks, but they cost a bit more money. So it's understandable why these have become so popular. There's a lot of different sketchbook options out there. I've tried a lot of different ones, and funny enough, one of my favorite sketchbooks is not even an actual sketchbook. It's a notebook that they don't even sell anymore, which makes me sad. Remember that a sketchbook is a place for you to practice and have fun with art. It does not need to be high quality, but I think it's important for you to at least like the surface that you're drawing on.
In a peaceful countryside, I drink your blood and I eat your skin.
This might just be the last sketchbook you'll ever need to try. Made from recycled stone, our paper offers an ultra smooth surface that's perfect for any medium, whether it's ink, graphite, watercolor pencils, markers, or even paint. You'll instantly notice a difference. No bleed through and no peeling while walking, just pure crisp lines and vibrant colours that stay where they're meant to. Stone paper is tough and water resistant when you need, yet it absorbs vibrant watercolours like a dream. It features flat lay binding, 240 GSM pages, and a back storage pocket for inspiration. Available in A4, A5 and A6, all with durable hardcovers, your art will always be protected whether you're in the studio or on the move. Even the thickest and darkest of marks will never bleed through or feather the pages. Say goodbye to multiple sketch pads and paper types because this one does it all.
Here's how to make your sketchbook go from this skinny, not chunky sketchbook to this big and chunky sketchbook that everyone will want to have. The sketchbook you're gonna need is a sketchbook that doesn't hold watercolors well. So for me, it's a hardbound Canson sketchbook. First step is gonna be to buy watercolor paper. This is what you need for it to be chunky. You're not gonna really use the original paper to draw. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use the watercolor paper to draw, and we're just gonna stick it on the paper. This will make the sketchbook chunky. So now every page of your sketchbook has like layers. You can also add drawings on top of drawings, any accessories you have at home to add on it. Everything that you add on this sketchbook will make it chunky. Like your pages will have layers and layers, and this is also going to help with the chunkiness. Just add anything you want. It's going to be beautiful and it's going to be chunky. It's going to be amazing. I mean, who doesn't want their sketchbook like this? Look how beautiful and chunky. But you do have to be careful, because if you go too crazy, this is what will happen. It will be broken, just like this one.
Women, they have minds, and they have souls, as well as just hearts, and they've got ambition, and they've got talent, as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it. But I'm so lonely.
Feel anything. It's a filthy world we live in. It's a filthy, goddamn, helpless world.
I paint the ideas that keep me up at night. Here's day 2. So this picture popped in my head. I quickly doodle it so I can go to sleep and not forget by the next morning. But it's always fun and a challenge to see if I can recreate exactly what I imagined. Inspired by pink sand beaches, it turned out exactly how I imagined.
So my favorite thing about Southern Gothic are all the secrets that are kept hidden behind closed doors. And the most fun thing for me with making miniatures are getting to hyperfocus on all of these details and these little Easter eggs that tell a story without being so overt, you know what I mean? So that said, this wardrobe is a really important part of the lore that I'm creating for this dollhouse. From the tiny swamp I just painted to the type of flowers, which are periwinkle, they all connect to the woman that is being hidden within this little compartment. Her name is Georgia, and she's someone very special to Rose, our main character. Once I completely flesh out the primary bedroom, I'll go really deep into who she is and why she's important. But in the meantime, I wanted to discuss a little bit about why she's in the wardrobe. Faulkner's A Rose for Emily is hugely inspirational to this dollhouse that I'm creating. I'm just fascinated by the concept of somebody going to the extremes to keep people that they love, whether it's physically or spiritually, as close to them as possible forever. So this little nook in this wardrobe I'm creating is going to be host to some of the darkest magic that I am creating for this story. The ancient kind that lives in the waters of an old swamp. Now, this kind of stuff I don't take very lightly, so I'm working with a professional to help me make it as accurate as possible, and I would really love your input as I create this. But I'll be sharing this part of the story very, very soon. I'm so excited.
Sketchbook is easily the best sketchbook I've ever had. This is the Moleskine A5 art sketchbook, and it's just amazing. The paper inside this is actually really thick, even though it doesn't look it here, which makes it really good to draw on. Now, some people think I got this custom printed, but I actually just drew a sticker and put it on there, and that's why.
My top 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, damn child, leave this house.
Where do you go when you disappear all day?
Just drive around. Sometimes I go to a bar. Sometimes I pull over by the side of the road. Just sit there for hours.
Why? And you'd rather do that than spend time with me.
Holly,
Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you the sketchbooks that I use. The first one I'm showing is I've had this one for quite some time. This is the only white paper that I like to use. I've done a lot of art in this one, and it's taken me quite a while to fill it up, which is why I've had it so long and why I still have it. But this is one of my favorite sketchbooks. There's other ones that I've used more, which is why I probably still haven't filled this one up. And then the next one I have is a tone tan sketchbook, which is one of my favorites because I love the tone tan paper. I just love how white and bright colors really show up on a neutral background. And it's just really good. The paper is also pretty thick, so markers work on here quite nicely. I mean, I still breathe through, but blending on here is just fantastic. Here's just a couple of my artworks that I've done in this sketchbook. I still haven't filled it up yet, but it's almost there. I'm getting there. the next one I'm showing is just a little mini grade tone 10 sketchbook. I don't really use this one much, but it is another one of my favorites that I like to use because, again, the neutral colors on here just show up very nicely when using colored pencils and blending and using wides. Also, you guys let me know if you want to see some of my art supplies.
Hey, want to listen to some tunes?
Yo. MF.
Someone cooked here.
My brother had his frontal lobe removed as part of a necessary procedure in 2016, and ever since I've tried my best to detail his thoughts through paintings. Today he told me that in the forest near our house he saw a 15-foot-tall glebus consuming a small creature, but when he got closer it was actually just tending to the creature's wounds and they were good buddies. I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about.
I definitely am not, and you guys know I will take any opportunity to show off my art. So let's start with this one. Cute, cute. I love how my style used to look. I was 16 when I made these. Oh my god, my style was peak. Look at this. This one's not colored, but I like it, so I want to show it anyways. Yeah, this is easily my best sketchbook. Like, I love this book. I don't think I would count this one as like dark skin, but I want to show it anyways, because look at that. I did that with watercolor. This is literally with a 10-in-1 pen. Genuinely how? Like, I was 16. I genuinely could not accomplish this today if I tried. You're joking. Oh my god. This has become more of a video of me just talking about how I used to be so good at art when I was 16 and now I can't accomplish it anymore. But also, why did I not color the forehead as much? Like, look at the difference. I filled this whole sketchbook. Look at this. 2 months, less than 2 months, this 72-page book with nothing but masterpieces when I was 16. Okay, we're done.
One thing about me is I will never understand artists who prefer spiral-bound sketchbooks. You know, the sketchbooks that hold the paper together with that little springy thingy. If you're an artist who can function with a sketchbook like that, let me know how, because I could never use one of those sketchbooks. Because I could never do full sketchbook spreads like this. You see how my portrait that I'm doing today is on both pieces of paper and it looks perfect still? I just love spreads like this so much. For my sketchbooks personally, I could never give this up for just a spring in the middle of my sketchbook that gets in the way when I draw. And you know, sometimes when you have a spiral bound sketchbook and you're drawing on the left page and then it makes that indent in your hand and it hurts? Spiral bound sketchbooks are just pain. I don't see any reason why you would get a spiral bound sketchbook unless you were gonna rip the pages out at the end. I'm sorry for the slander, the spiral bound sketchbook slander, but I just can't handle it, and that's my sketchbook hot take. So sorry if you disagree, but I'm just speaking my truth. Let me know what you think of this portrait down in the comments, and I'll see y'all in my next TikTok. Bye. Love ya.
This is the oldest sketchbook I still own. This is a more recent sketchbook, and in this video I'm going to talk about making progress. First, I hope you all can tell that I really did start from zero. I am self-taught and I never felt talented. I simply made a lot of drawings. These ones are from the Zen monastery where I used to live. That's a long story for another time. I was also a substitute teacher once. Please, please, please don't tell my former students that Mr. K is on TikTok. The point is, I had to learn human proportions, perspective, and how to draw with confidence, all from making a lot of mistakes. I mean, just look at these color choices. Now, fast forward a few years and I am traveling in Spain. Another long, fun story. But here you can see I have a lot more creative control in terms of composition, color, and storytelling. I have some tips I can recommend for making the most of your time, so if you follow for more, I'd be happy to share them with you.
Okay, but genuinely, how do people manage to draw without a reference? Because as soon as I tried to draw without one, suddenly I forgot all 10 years of art I've been doing.
Drawing on the first day of school, and since I was a senior, I had no idea what I wanted to draw, just like I didn't know what to do after high school. So instead, I decided to draw Maharaga. While I saw Maharaga, I realized that literally no one was here. I continued cross-hatching with a pen because pencils are for the weak. I finished up my drawing and only one of my friends showed up. This drawing turned out pretty good. I think it turned out for a school drawing.
Can I mine real quick?
Yeah, here. I had cross-hatching like right there.
Okay, thank you.
Why I draw in a 5.5 by 8.5 inch Strathmore sketchbook. And let me just say too, for anyone who doesn't know, this is not the only size sheet of paper that I draw on, nor is it the only size sketchbook that I draw in. But anyways, I chose this size sketchbook for my smaller drawings. And this is the size that I'm normally drawing on whenever I do my live streams. If you know me, you already know that these drawings take about like 2 to 3 hours to complete. If you know the sheet of paper was any larger, we're talking like 5-6 hours minimum. So that's why I keep it to this size canvas, and it's like perfect for the shots that I get with my time lapse. So that's why. I have a sale going on right now in my store, 70% off. Use code 2GOOD. Also, if you like the artwork, check out more on my page and follow for more tips.
Neat. I love Leon Kennedy.
You want to see something weird? This is my art from before I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. As you can see, it has a lot of dreamlike qualities, a lot of ethereal aspects to it. The symbolisms and the meanings behind a lot of these illustrations have been lost on me. There's so much I don't remember, And I wish I remembered so I could tell you guys what these illustrations mean, but for the most part, I don't. But at least I can say with confidence that my imagination was vivid and very much alive. These were all done when I had just entered college.